Fine. So today we are going to have a quick revision on standards on auditing SA 550 related parties. So first of all, we should know what is the definition of related party. See, related party is as defined in the AFR. That means related party has got the same definition as defined in the AFR. And where the AFRF established minimal or no related party requirements. That is, if you are auditing a HUF or if you are auditing a partnership firm where AFRF is silent, where the AFRF is not required, in such situation, who is a related party or what is a related party? In such situation, we will go through the below given definition. Okay? Yes, sir. Got it. So what is the below given definition? Let's see. Any person or entity who is having a control or significant influence over the reporting entity, either directly or indirectly. Okay. For example, let's see this. We are the auditor of Sanjay Limited Company. So Sanjay Limited is a reporting entity. See, we can see a company called Reliance, who is the holding company of Sanjay Limited. Okay. So Reliance is a company which is having a control over Sanjay Limited. That means Sanjay and Reliance becomes related party. Okay. Why? Because Reliance is having a control over Sanjay Limited. Now let's see Modiji Limited. This Modiji Limited is the associate company of Sanjay. That means Modiji can exert significant influence over Sanjay, right? That means Modiji and Sanjay is also the related party. So any entity which is having a control over the reporting entity or significant influence over the reporting entity, they are related parties. Okay. Okay, dear. Agree with me? Yes, sir. Any entity which is having a control over the reporting entity or any entity which is having a significant influence over the reporting entity, both are related parties. Okay, got it. Now we can see another company called Vishnu Limited. See, Sanjay is the holding company of Vishnu, which is the reporting entity here, Sanjay. Sanjay is the holding company of Vishnu. Okay, Sanjay is the associate company of Priya Limited. In such situation, Sanjay can exert control over the Vishnu. Sanjay can exert significant influence over the Priya Limited. In such situation, both Vishnu and Priya becomes related party of Sanjay. That means an entity over which the reporting entity is having a control, an entity over which the reporting entity is having a significant influence, both the entities will become the related party of the Sanjay Limited. Okay, agree to me? Yes, sir. See the definition? A person or any entity who is having a control or significant influence over the reporting entity. Which was the reporting entity in our example? Sanjay. Which was the entity which is having a control over Sanjay Limited? Reliance. Which was the entity which was having significant influence over the Sanjay? Modiji Limited. So both Reliance and Modiji will become the related party of Sanjay. Okay, agree to me? Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Second definition, any entity over which the reporting entity is having a control or significant influence. Our reporting entity was Sanjay. Sanjay was having a control over Vishnu Limited. Sanjay was having a significant influence over Priya Limited. In such situation, both Priya and Vishnu will become the related party of Sanjay. Agree to this? Yes, sir. After this, common controlling ownership, owners who are close family members, common key manager. Let's read. Common ownership. We can see another company called Prabhu Limited. The holding company of Prabhu Limited is also Reliance. That means Reliance is the holding company of Sanjay. Reliance is the holding company of Prabhu also. Agree? Yes, sir. That means Sanjay's owner is also Reliance. Prabhu's owner is also Reliance. So both companies, Sanjay and Prabhu, is having a common ownership. In such situation, both Sanjay and Prabhu will become related party. Two companies are there, Sanjay and Prabhu. Both these companies, the owners of both these companies is one and the same. In such situation, both Sanjay and Prabhu will become related party. Agree to this common ownership? Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Next, common key management. See, there is a company called ABC. There is another company called XYZ. If the key management of both the company are same people, then both the companies will become related parties. Agree to this? Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Next, there is a company called ABC whose owner is Sanjay. There is another company called XYZ whose owner is Giridhar. Giridhar is none other than my father. Okay, so my father is the owner of XYZ. See, if we look both ABC and XYZ, they are not related to each other. But the owner of ABC and the owner of XYZ are close family members. In such scenario, both ABC and XYZ will become related parties. Agree to this? Okay, sir, got it. So I will again explain the entire concept of related party definition. Please listen. See, here we are auditing the entity called Sanjay. So Sanjay is the reporting entity. Reliance is the holding company of Sanjay. So Reliance is having a control over Sanjay. So Reliance and Sanjay becomes related party. Modi ji is the associate company of Sanjay. So Modi ji can exert significant influence over Sanjay. So both Modi ji and Sanjay becomes a related party. Vishnu is the subsidiary company of Sanjay, where Sanjay can exert control over Vishnu. So Sanjay and Vishnu becomes a related party. Priya is the associate company of Sanjay. Sanjay can exert significant influence over Priya. So Sanjay and Priya will also become the related party. See, we can see another company called Prabhu. Both the owners of both Sanjay and Prabhu is one and the same, Reliance. So both Sanjay and Prabhu will become a related party. Now we said about common key management as well as owners who are close family members. See, ABC as well as XYZ. The key management of both the company are same people. So both the companies will also become the related parties. See, we can see another company ABC and XYZ where the owner of ABC was Sanjay and owner of XYZ is none other than Sanjay's father. Here Sanjay and Sanjay's father are close family members. So both ABC and XYZ will also become the related parties. Agree to this point? Agree to this topic? Yes, sir. Got it, sir. So we are covered with the definition of related party. See, dear, related party. See, whenever we are discussing about this topic, related party, we should have a we should also think about certain other areas where related parties are discussed. For example, accounting standard 18 in days 24, where these particular standards are requiring the company to identify all the related party transactions, all the related party relationship, and disclose them in the financial statement. Section 177, where the audit committee, we have to obtain the audit committee's approval before entering a transaction with the related party. Section 188, where we have to take before having any transaction with the related party, we have to obtain the permission of the board of directors, and if the transaction limit is exceeding a particular specific limit, we have to obtain permission of the members. Then also in CARO 2020 also we are also discussing about related party in clause number 13. Agree to this? Yes. So whenever we are discussing about related party, we should have a small idea about other various topics where this particular related party is discussed. Agree to this topic? Yes, sir. Got it. Now, objectives. See, what is the objective of the auditor? Objective of the auditor is very simple. See, accounting standard 18 or India's 24 is asking the company to identify all the related party, to identify the transactions with the related party, to disclose the transaction with the related party. So it is the duty of the management to identify, account, disclose. So what is the duty of the auditor? What would be the objective of the auditor? Objective of the auditor would be to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to see that management has properly identified, accounted, disclosed all the related parties in the financial statement. Very simple. I will repeat once again. See, accounting standard 18 or India's 24 has asked the company to identify all the transactions, the relationship they had with the related parties in the financial statement. So the objective of the auditor would be to see whether to obtain evidence to ensure that the entity has identified, accounted, and disclosed all the related party transactions and relationships. This is the first objective. Second objective, if the entity is having any transaction with a related party, auditor has to see whether there is any fraud risk factor, whether there is any chances of fraud. So as an auditor, I should see whether there is any chances of fraud when the entity is having any transaction with the related party. Third objective, if an entity is having any transaction with the related party, the auditor should ensure that the financial statement is true and fair, and the financial statement is not misleading anyone. Simple. Okay. So what are the three objectives of SA 550? First objective is to see whether the entity has identified, accounted, disclosed all the related party transactions. Second, if the entity has entered into any transaction with the related party, auditor should see whether there is any fraud risk factors. Third, if the entity has any transaction with the related party, auditor should see that the financial statement is achieving true and fair. As the same way, auditor should ensure that it is not misleading anyone. Fine, agree to this. Okay. Now let's talk about the risk assessment procedure of SA 550. What do you mean by risk assessment procedure? Auditor should assess whether there is any risk factor arising from any related party transactions or relationship. Okay, da. Okay. See, just imagine you are auditing my company. You are auditing Sanjay Limited company. So it is your duty to see whether I have identified all the related party, I have disclosed all the related party. Fine, agree to this? Yes. So you want to know who are my related party, whether I have disclosed all the related party, whether I have disclosed all the relationship with the related party. Agree? So what could be the best way to know who are my related parties? What could be the best way? Very simple. You can straight away ask to me, right? So the first step is auditor should inquire to the management. What would be the what could be the inquiry? What would be the question that the auditor would inquire to the management? First one, auditor has to inquire to the management who are the related parties. How many related parties do you have? Second, how whether there is any changes in the related party when we compare with the prior period. For example, last year I had 300 related parties. This year I am having 350 related parties. So as an auditor, I should inquire to the management how many related parties do you have, whether there is any change from the prior period. Second, I have to inquire to the management what is the nature of relationship of this related party, how this particular company becomes your related party, whether this particular company is your holding company, whether this particular company is your subsidiary company, whether this particular company is your associate company, what is the nature of relationship, how this particular company becomes your related party. Third thing, you should inquire to the management whether the entity had any transaction with this particular related party. So 3 questions I need to inquire to the management. First one, how many related parties do they have? Whether there is any change from the prior period. Second one, what is the relationship of the nature of relationship the entity had with these related parties? Whether common key management, common ownership, close family members, what is the nature of relationship? Third thing, whether the entity was having any transaction with the related party. Okay, da? Okay, sir. See, we already said that in Accounting Standard 18, India is 24, it is the duty of the entity to identify, account, disclose the related party transaction. Agree to this? Yes. So the entity or the management will implement some controls to identify, account, disclose the related party. Agree to this? Yes. So as an auditor, you should inquire to the management to obtain an understanding of the controls, systems, mechanisms they have implemented to identify, account, and disclose. See, as an auditor, I should understand how the management is identifying, accounting, disclosing the related party. So I will go to the management. I will straight away inquire to the management. What are the controls you have implemented to identify, account, disclose the related party relationship and transaction? Next, I will inquire to them authorizes the transaction with the related party. We know as per section 188, we have to, and section 177, we have to obtain the approval of audit committee, board of directors, members, all this, right? So who authorizes and approves the transaction with the related party? If the entity is having any transaction with the related party which is outside the normal course of business. Sir, what do you mean by outside the normal course of business? Outside the normal course of business, for example, our entity normally provides a discount of 5 to 10%. But the transaction our entity had with the related party, I can see that 50% discount, which is outside the normal course of business. Normal course of business, entity provides 5 to 10% discount. Now, the entity is having a transaction with the related party where the entity has provided 50% discount, which is something which is outside the normal course of business. Okay, so such transactions, who authorizes and approves the transaction which is outside the normal course of business? Okay, agree to this? Yes. So we have to inquire to the management 6 things, 6 matters. First of all, who are the related parties? Whether any changes from the prior. What is the nature of relationship? What are the transactions the entity had with the related party? Next, what are the controls implemented by the management to identify, account, disclose the related party? Who authorizes and approves the related party? Who authorizes and approves the transactions which are outside the normal course of business? Agree to this? Okay. Second step in risk assessment procedure is auditor should maintain alert. Auditor should remain alert. When should an auditor remain alert? Throughout the audit, he should remain alert, right? Yes. But right now, whenever we are auditing related party transaction, auditor should remain alert. Whenever auditor is inspecting certain documents which could provide information regarding the related party, auditor should remain alert. Sir, can you repeat the sentence once again? So whenever the auditor is inspecting the documents which could provide related party information, auditor should remain alert. Sir, what are the documents which can provide information regarding the related party? See, very simple. See this: income tax returns, shareholders registers, contracts and agreements with the key management, LIC policies, internal auditors report, contracts renegotiated with the entity, all these documents. So whenever an auditor is inspecting these documents, auditor has to remain alert. Okay, yes. And third step is auditor has to share the related party information to the team members. Why, sir? Why do we need to share the information to the team members? These are our own team members. So it is the duty of the engagement partner that he has to share the related party information to the team members so that they can also remain alert whenever they are vouching the transaction, whenever they are auditing. Okay, da? Okay, sir. So what are the 3 steps in risk assessment procedure? First of all, understanding. Second one, maintaining the alertness. Third one, sharing the information with the engagement team. Agree to this? Yes. Now we have to learn 2 small topics, responses to RMM. Here, first topic is when an auditor identifies newly identified related party. Second, what should an auditor do when he identifies a transaction which is outside the normal course of business? Okay. First of all, let's discuss newly identified related party. Okay. Yes. So what do you mean by newly identified related party? See, you are auditing my company. You inquire to me how many related parties do I have? I said to you like there are 50 related parties. Now, when you are performing the audit, you identified 51st related party. That means you identified a related party which was not disclosed by the management. Okay, that means newly identified related party. In such situation, how should an auditor respond? Okay, step 1, promptly communicate this matter to your team members. Whenever you identified a related party which was not disclosed by the management, step 1, you go and communicate this matter as fast as possible to your team members. Second, you should request the management to identify all the transactions the entity was having with this newly identified related party. Step 1, promptly communicate with your team members. Step 2, you have to request the management to identify all the transactions they had with this newly identified related party. Now you should inquire why the management's internal control, why the entity's internal control failed to identify this related party. Okay, now you have to inquire why the entity's control failed to identify this particular transaction. Next, you should perform substantive audit procedure. In detail, you have to see whether there are any other transactions, whether there are any other related party which was not disclosed by the management. See, management said 50 related parties. Now you identified 51st. Now you become more alert. Now you will go for in-detail checking to see whether there are any other related parties which was not disclosed by the management. So you will perform substantive audit procedures to identify other related parties. Okay, agrees. Now, if the auditor feels like the non-disclosure by the management was intentional, if the auditor finds that the management intentionally hides this particular related party, then auditor has to perform the audit procedures for fraud, SA 240. Now, auditor has to evaluate the implications for the audit. If the auditor feels that the non-disclosure by the management was intentional, in such situation, auditor has to perform audit procedures for fraud also. Agree to this? Okay, sir, got it. So what are the audit procedures we said in case of newly identified related party? Step 1, promptly communicate to your team members. Step 2, you request the management to identify all the transactions with this particular new related party. Now you will inquire why the control of the management failed to identify. Now you will perform substantive audit procedure. And if you feel like the non-disclosure was intentional, the auditor has to perform audit procedures for fraud also. Agree to this? Yes, sir, got it, sir. Second topic, outside the normal course of business. What was the example I gave for outside the normal course of business? Normal discount is 5 to 10%. Now the entity has entered a transaction with a related party where the entity has provided 50% discount, which is something outside its normal course of business. In such situation, what should an auditor perform? First of all, auditor should inspect the agreement and contracts. The agreements or contracts between the entity and the related party. Such contracts auditor should inspect. Second, auditor should evaluate the business rationale behind entering into such transaction. What could be the business rationale for providing 50% discount to the related party? What could be the business rationale? Auditor should evaluate the business rationale. Third thing, see, obviously the auditor will inquire to the management, right? What could be the business rationale? Auditor will inquire. So management will give their explanation. Third step, auditor should see whether the management's explanation is consistent with the terms of the transaction. See, whatever explanation the management has given, whether it is consistent with the terms of the transaction, whether the explanation of the management is consistent with the agreement. Terms mentioned in the agreement. Agreed? Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Next, as an auditor, I should see whether the transactions are properly accounted and disclosed or not. Fine? Yes. And now auditor has to obtain evidence that the transactions are properly authorized and approved. See, we know any transaction with a related party, it should be properly approved and authorized, right? We should obtain the authorization from the audit committee, board of directors, all these things. Okay. So as an auditor, I should see whether these transactions are properly accounted, whether these transactions are properly authorized and approved. Agreed to this? Yes, sir. Got it. Got it, sir. Next, last topic, last point of this particular standard. As an auditor, I should obtain return representation from the management. As an auditor, I should obtain return representation from the management. What return representation? That they have disclosed all the related party transactions to the auditor. They have accounted and disclosed all the related party transactions and relations in the financial statement. So as an auditor, I should obtain return representation from the management that they have disclosed all the related party transactions to the auditor, and they have identified, accounted, and disclosed all the related party transactions in the financial statement. Agree to this? This is all about our SA 550. Fine? Agreed? Yes, sir. See, let's do one thing. This is Infosys annual accounts. In this, we can see the related party transactions, whether they have provided the related party transactions, all these things. Okay? Just a second here. See here. Related party transaction. See, Infosys has provided the list of all the related parties they were having. Okay, this is the, if I'm not wrong, this is the latest annual report of the Infosys. Okay, see, they have provided the details of all the related party they were having. Okay, see, can you see this? Yes, sir, got it, sir. See, they have also mentioned how this particular company become the related party, wholly owned subsidiary, wholly owned, majority owned, all this, the relationship is also mentioned in the financial sheet. See, list of other related party. Infosys Foundation. How Infosys Foundation becomes a related party? Because trust jointly controlled by KMP. Common key management. We have discussed somewhere in the definition of related party, right? Yes. So the nature of relationship. So every entity should disclose the related party, the nature of relationship they had with this particular related party, as well as the transactions they had with the related party. Let's see. See, what are the amount due to or due from the related party? Whatever amount the Infosys wants to receive from this related party, or the amount due to the related parties, that has also been mentioned in the annual report. Can you see this? Yes, sir. Got it, sir. So this is all about our SA 550. I hope you enjoy this standard. I hope you understand this standard. If you are having any doubt, you can WhatsApp me. Okay. So see you with the next standard. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.